Today we are installing 2-inch lowering blocks from MAXTRAC suspension on my first gen S10 Blazer. So in the rear end of this truck, it is a GM 12-bolt rear with CalTrac bars. Here's the rear suspension. This truck has been narrowed in the rear, but the blocks and all that should work as well. It's on Beltec shocks. And we're gonna go ahead and work this kit out on the truck. So further in depth in the kit, here's your nice aluminum blocks, big old U-bolts. Takes a 3/4 socket. I'm gonna use my impact, but if you're at home, you can use a 1/2-inch wrench. I'm gonna do an extension. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the truck jacked up and start pulling it apart. All jacked up and kind of show you how high this truck kind of sits in the rear. Here's like a demonstration of it. I mean, I got a whole fist full of space on it on both sides. Here we go. This side's a little less, but I think that's because one of the tires are low and it's causing the truck just to sit a little bit awkward. But this is what it kind of looks like beforehand. Truck up on jack stands, and I got the rear suspension decompressed, so there's no tension on the rear at all. See, it's completely off. Keep the jack there, got it. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock these 4 bolts right there loose on both sides. Keep everything centered. Do not let the rear move. And then I'm gonna jack up the rear end as I'm gonna put the block through. I'll show you this process. Here we go. See, what I'm fighting with right now is just my impact ain't had enough space. I should have jacked up the truck a little bit higher, but knock all 4 of those bolts out. It was the same thing on this truck. It was a 3/4 SE. There it is. Yep, 3/4 socket on it. And hit it with impact and knock it all loose. Keep a little pressure on the rear end so when it comes up, it don't shake all around. Might take a jack stand here and here for extra precaution to keep the rear from swaying to the left or right and getting uneven, but a little hard to film on this. But I'll knock those 4 out and show you what it looks like. The rear end is completely unbolted, so on this one it's kind of like loosely hanging. You see right there where the CalTrac bar bolts into the lower leaf spring. Goes like so. So I'm gonna slowly jack up the rear end. One side might be a little more than the other. Yeah, it's kind of pressuring it. So then we're gonna slide our block right up in there. I'll go grab the block. So on the blocks, you got like a nipple at the bottom and then like an inlet. You'll see how to exactly slide it. And like so, of course, I gotta jack the rear end up a little bit more. Go ahead and do that. Slides in there now, so you see there where the bolt head is. Slide in there as so. Lower the rear end down. You might have to slide the rear end with your hand a little bit. I'm gonna lower that side on down. Actually, we're gonna jack it back up because I didn't line up the CalTrac bar. It's kind of hard to kind of do this one-handed, but I'll line up the CalTrac bar again. I get right up into. That's threaded. I want to fight with that for a second. But after I get that straight, I'll show you what it looks like. So I was able to sneak these up in there. Had to kind of fiddle with the bar a little bit. Get that thing straight on there. Might adjust that when it gets lower down onto it a little bit. So come in there a little bit better. So I'll go ahead and lower it down a little bit. And then shake the axle where to get lined on up. Link button, not really even a big problem. But these studs are a little longer than expected. So what I gotta do is grab a wrench now, and can only tighten it with a wrench because I don't have an impact socket long enough. But that's all so far the only thing I have. I got both blocks in there. The rear end I set straight. Once I go ahead and get them tightened up and snugged, it'll come back in there straight. But so far it's looking good. One thing I did forget to mention, that these blocks are wedged. I about really messed up. My dad caught me on it. So I had this one in there backwards, but now she is in there. So you see how it's kind of wedged in there. That is the correct. I got them tightened down. Might go back and cut these later. That way I can hit it again with the impact. Make sure everything's nice and tight, but it's in there. Go ahead and put the wheels and tires back on the truck and lower it down and see how it looks. Now, this is what the truck looks like. So it looks way better on the rear. Still got plenty of room. That time I dropped it down a lot more. Might have to jump on the back a little bit and try to compress the suspension a little bit better, but man, the truck looks a whole lot better. Well, that is the whole kit install. Again, this kit was like 50 bucks off of eBay. MAXTRAC suspension. So go check them out. I mean, so far it worked really good. And this truck's got a 12 bolt rear, so it's a different rear than what it comes from factory. And the kit just fit pretty damn good, honestly. So there's what it looks like underneath the truck. It looks good. Everything looks fine. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and catch y'all in the next video.